Hello everybody, Andy here from Glass Half Dead, a Kill Team channel talking about 40k today. Specifically, I'm talking about the new codex for Tyranids. On the off chance you don't know, I am what we would term 40k curious, as in I don't necessarily play 40k enough to call it my main game, but I'm always interested in it. Now, hey, look, if you've already seen real 40k people talking about the 40k Codex for Tyranids, I'm not going to tell you anything you don't know here. I'm kind of pitching this video at people similar to me. People that have seen 10th and have been very interested, and maybe you're playing Kill Team, but you're like, oh, you know, Kill Team doesn't have many releases for a little bit of time. Let's play a bit of 10th, let's see how I feel about that. But hey, building up a 40k army takes a long time, so you haven't really done much. Maybe you played a combat patrol, maybe you played 1,000 points, maybe you've dabbled at 2,000, but you know, all unpainted and you're not quite there yet. You haven't quite made a decision. Well, the logical next step, if you aren't decided, is to wait and see what the codexes bring to the game, right? That's certainly where I've been. I've played with the core rules, I've played a little bit of combat patrol, I've played some index, obviously that's all there is, and I have been unconvinced. And so I've been waiting for the codex to drop, the first codex, to see what that really gives. And in the past, if you've been following it closely, Games Workshop, Stu Black specifically, did some interviews, and he came out and said, this is what we intend to do with the codexes. But until you see it, you don't really know, right? So I have been given a PDF copy of the 40k Tyranid Codex. I've had a read through, and I want to tell you what's in there so that you know how the game might change, how the next 3 years of 40k will probably look, and hopefully that will help you to know whether or not you want to go deeper into 40k or you want to hang back, chill out. And then at the end, I'll give you just my own very brief thoughts on what I think about how that might affect things, okay? So of course, before we get into that, I would like to give to the subscribers of my channel out there a big double hello. Along with a nice little double hello slide. Wow, isn't that incredibly wholesome? Suddenly, if you would like that double hello wholesomeness, that beautiful extra pleasantry in your life, consider liking, subscribing, leave a comment right now. For comments, I assume that most people watching this have already seen more knowledgeable people talking about this Tyranid Codex. So consider letting me know what your thoughts are before you hear mine. Pause the video, drop your comments on what you think the Tyranid Codex is going to bring to the game, how codexes in general, assuming the Tyranid Codex is average, standard, and how that's going to affect the game and your enjoyment of the game. And also, is it exactly what you expected, or were you expecting more? Those are all things I will answer at the end. Oh, also, I have if you really like what I'm doing here, you know, for Kill Team, for skirmish games in general, at one point in my life, I'll actually talk about another skirmish game, I promise. Consider checking me out on Patreon. I do a few extra things. At certain tiers, I give out my Kill Team objective marker files, so you can print them out yourself if you don't want to buy them for full price off Etsy or whatever. And I also give you a cool coloured name in my Discord, among other things like data cards. Okay, so let's talk about the Tyranid Codex. In it, it is unchanged from the index. That's the big thing. I went through like as many data sheets as I could stomach, which was a few, I don't know, a handful, 6, let's say, and I was really searching for, have they changed any of the raw stats? Have they changed any of the wording? Have they changed any of the weaponry, any of the loadouts? They haven't, really. The only new things were obviously new rules. So where they redid the termagants, those have new rules because they have new guns. Where they have added in the lictors models and the new Norn emissary, ambassador, whatever, those are new, obviously. So we haven't seen them in the index. They are new things. There's also at the back of the book points costs. Now I compared these quite closely, and basically every model has taken roughly a 10% points drop. Not all of them, 1 or 2 have gone up, but in general everything has gone down a little bit. And I'm not a big 40k guy, I can't really tell you if that's needed or what. Certainly I think from what I've paid attention to, the Tyranids aren't doing well. And the reason the Tyranids aren't doing well is because they're not a very good faction. However, they are good because of one tactic, which is biovores spamming spore mines. It allows you to instantly grab points anywhere on the board turn 1, but I suspect that as soon as Games Workshop comes out and says no, spore mines cannot hold points, the army will completely crumble beneath itself. So it's actually quite likely, you know, giving GW the benefit of the doubt on this one, that yeah, they probably all need to be points costed lower than they currently are to compete. Again, I'm not an expert on such things, but the new Norn Emissary thing seemed very competitively costed, so we shall see how that plays out. I suspect those new models are going to be a must-take in every list. Cool. So, if you've played the Index, you know that you have kind of one detachment. Now, as expected, you have access to, I think, 5 others, or 4 others? Probably 5 others. All of which are interesting and thematic. And one thing that I really like that they've done is there are no restrictions. There are only benefits. So, for example, in Crusher Stampede, where it's all about your monsters, right? In that, you can still take your little guys, you can still take a bunch of termagants, however you just won't have any rules or strats that will benefit those models, and I really like that. Because in the past what they've tended to have done is said, if you are playing Crusher Stampede, you cannot take these units, or you must only take units with the monster keyword. And I really like that. I like that they've kept it open and just given benefits for taking the correct models as opposed to negatives for taking the wrong one. Well, sorry, not negatives, just you cannot take these. So that's really good. I think that's a great design choice. However, I have been struggling a little bit with deciding whether or not I actually like 40k. I've always thought I should, shall we say. So, I've been a little bit unconvinced with the Index play so far, and I was very much holding on to see what the Codex would bring. I don't think that the Codexes change anything that is going to convince you otherwise. If you're unconvinced from the Index, the Codex won't change it. There you go. Now, the Codex is undoubtedly going to change balance of the game. It's going to, certainly I know for AdMech, for example, because I've played a few games of them, you know, Rad Bombardment is a terrible, just useless, frankly, detachment ability, right? It does nothing, or it hurts you, pretty much. So, it will shift the balance of the game a little bit when you get your Codex. However, I don't care about the balance of 40k. As much as it's fun to gripe on the balance, I don't play the game enough to care about the balance. And okay, I will admit, the guy I've mainly played into does play Eldari. So that might be an issue, but let's forget about that. Whatever. I'm still not convinced I like the game per se, so I don't care about how balanced the game is. If I was enjoying the game, then I wouldn't really mind if I won or lost at the end of it. Whereas right now, you know, I'm having my down moments, I'm having it's my opponent's shooting phase, so literally just the whole 25 minutes, I'm just taking my models off the board, which feels kind of meh to me as a concept, and a reality, unfortunately. So maybe, I don't know, I'm not quite there, but I don't know what the Codex was going to change with that, but yeah, I don't know, I was hopeful. So anyway, Tyranid Codex, it changes nothing of the core concept of 40k. It will change balance, but I don't care about balance, I care about the core gameplay. And it hasn't changed that, which is obviously, of course it hasn't. You're saying, Andy, what is this video? We know that a codex is never going to change the core concept of the game. If you don't like the core rulebook rules, then a codex does not change that, it changes balance. And you're correct. I didn't really expect the codex to change how these played. As in, like, the core game. But I'd hoped, if I'm honest. I had really hoped, because I'm still unconvinced. And I've read, you know, I've got it right here, I've read and played the core rules. And I like them. I like a lot of the design choices they've made compared to 9th edition. But, I don't think I like the game. And I think, you know, like, I'm not saying it yet, I think that now that we've seen the first codex and we can see what they're going to do going forwards, forget balance of the game, we can see where they're going, whether they get it right and absolutely nail the balance or whether they completely screw it up. It's kind of irrelevant. We can now see and start to finally confirm whether or not we like it. If you like the hobby of 40k, awesome. If you're looking for the mechanics and you were hoping that the codex was going to give you what you needed to go all in and to get multiple armies and to do all of that stuff, now you know. There you go. And for me personally, considering all the codexes do is add the new models and add the detachment rules, and that's it, everything else is still pretty much what it was on the index cards, plus points changes, but points changes change all the time, so irrelevant. I think I'm happy to say now that 40k isn't for me. And that is, my patrons know how much I've struggled with that concept over the past few months of playing 10th edition. But yeah, I think I'm ready to say, you know, now I can see the first codex and see where the whole edition is going. I don't think 40k 10th edition is for me. I still think it's better than 9th edition was for me, 100%. But I think I don't like it. So there you go. So, if you're out there, if you made it this far, let me know what you think. Are you enjoying 10th edition in general? Does seeing the first codex released change anything for you? Or is this exactly what you expected and you're now happy to either commit or not commit? And finally, this is a serious one for you all. If you are enjoying 10th edition, can you let me know why? Because even though I've just said I'm happy to say I don't like 10th edition and give up on it, I'd love to not. I would love for someone to tell me the thing that makes me say I'd missed it. I hadn't realised that. I'm in. That would be great if you have that. I would love to know it, because I would love to love 10th edition, genuinely. I genuinely would. But I don't. Anyway, if you made it to the end of the video, I'd like to give you a big triple hello. Wow, wasn't that so wholesome? And right at the end of a slightly down video. But honestly, it wasn't a down video, it was just a factual video. And again, my patrons have already heard a lot of my behind the scenes thoughts, and I'm not ready to completely swear off 40k because I still want to like it so much, right? And there are things to like there, genuinely. But having seen the codex, I think it's probably not for me. But I'm still going to get every new model and every new codex, and that means I'm not completely off it yet. Okay, I think Kill Team's the significantly superior game in just every single way, apart from you don't get to play with the cool big models. But they could fix that. Kill Team needs to just fix that with boss battles. Just put in boss battle rules and just let us play with the big models when we want to play with them. They can be narrative only, that's fine. Give us a rule set for our big models, and Kill Team is the superior game in every possible way, in my opinion. But yes, there you go. Thanks for watching. This has been Andy. Remember to stay hydrated, and let me know what you think about the new Tyranid Codexes and what you think GW has done right and wrong with 10th edition. Have a good one. Bye.